spring of 1942 wrapped Norway in a cold mist, but inside the manor house, tucked away among the fjords, the air hung heavy with anticipation. The building, once owned by a wealthy fisherman, now bore the name Heim Hochland, one of those secret homes where the SS turned their dream of a pure race into reality. No fields of wheat or herds of cows here. This was a farm of a different sort, where seeds for the Reich's future were sown. Young women, hand-picked by strict standards, blonde hair, blue eyes, robust health, arrived under cover of night, ready to do their bit for the Führer. Anna, 22, stepped over the threshold with a bag in hand, holding just a couple of dresses and a letter from the local Gauleiter. Her skin was pale as the snow on the mountain peaks, her eyes the color of the northern sky. She didn't ask why she'd been chosen. The war whispered of duty, and she went along with it. In the hall, she was met by the senior sister, a woman in crisp Lebensborn uniform with a face carved like a Valkyrie's from stone. Without a word, Anna was led to a room on the second floor where 3 other girls were already waiting. Beds stood in a row like in barracks, but the sheets were clean, and on the table sat fresh bread and milk. It was paradise compared to the hunger in Oslo. The days flowed in a rhythm set by the schedule. Mornings meant gymnastics outdoors to keep bodies strong and ready for motherhood. Then came lessons in racial hygiene, where a lecturer in glasses with a Bavarian accent explained how blood determined a nation's fate. Anna sat quietly, soaking up the words about Aryan superiority, the need to multiply for victory on the fronts. Evenings brought them the men in uniform, SS officers and Wehrmacht soldiers, selected for their purity. Not all were straight from the front. Some came from Berlin or Munich, but many carried the dust of the Eastern Front, where they fought the subhumans. The first time Anna felt it was in the garden behind the house. The sun broke through the clouds when he appeared, a tall lieutenant named Karl, with a scar on his cheek from shrapnel near Smolensk. He didn't say much. His gray, cold eyes slid over her, sizing her up like goods at market. The Lebensborn sister led them together, whispering, "For the Reich." They slipped away to a small gazebo hidden by rhododendron bushes. There, on a wooden bench covered with a blanket, it happened as it was meant to. His hands were rough, calloused from war, but his movements had a mechanical precision, like following orders. Anna closed her eyes, thinking of the Führer, of the future child who would grow strong and loyal. Pain mixed with a strange warmth. And when it was over, Karl stood, straightened his uniform, and left without a word. She sat there, feeling the Reich's seed planted in her. But that was just the beginning. The farm pulsed with its own life, throbbing with arrivals and departures. The other girls shared whispers in the dark of night, about men who came weary from the front, with tales of snowy fields in Russia where bodies froze in trenches. One, Hilda, with rosy cheeks, bragged that her partner was a major, a hero with the Iron Cross. "He said our children will conquer the world," she whispered once. Anna nodded, but inside, something else grew, not pride, but a quiet fear. Their bodies became battlefields, where intimacy blended with duty, and pleasure was a forbidden word. As weeks turned to months, the house filled with new faces. They brought in girls from Poland and Czechoslovakia, those deemed suitable by blood, despite origins. Their eyes were full of confusion. Some cried at night, remembering families left behind. The Lebensborn sisters calmed them with vitamins and lectures on greatness. Anna watched one, Maria, with dark roots dyed for camouflage, paired with a soldier from the Viking division. They vanished into a room on the ground floor, and muffled sounds drifted out, a mix of sighs and commands.
When Maria emerged, her face was flushed, her eyes empty. "It's for a better future," she told herself, but Anna noticed the tremble in her hands.
The front crept closer in the men's stories. One, Obersturmführer Otto, arrived from the east, where his unit fought near Kharkiv. He was older, with graying temples, and chose Anna a second time. In a small room lit by a kerosene lamp, he undressed slowly, revealing bullet scars. "No room for weakness on the front," he muttered, pressing against her. His body was hard as steel, his movements calculated. Anna felt the war entering her through him, the chill of metal, the smell of gunpowder that wouldn't wash away. He didn't kiss, didn't caress. It was an act of production, like assembling a rifle in a factory. When he finished, he lay beside her for a minute, breathing heavily. "Your child will be a soldier," he said quietly, and left. The house expanded. By summer 1942, Heim Hochland had taken in another 20 women. Some already carried the fruit of the program's efforts. They were fed better than in the cities: meat, vegetables, milk from local farms. Doctors examined them weekly, measuring skulls, checking eyes for Aryan purity. Anna noticed changes in herself: breasts swollen, belly slightly rounded. She knew life was growing inside, destined for the Reich. But at night, when the wind howled from the fjords, she thought of her mother in Oslo, her brother on the front. Was this love, or just mechanics? Intimacy on this farm lacked romance. Men arrived on schedule, like trains at a station. One evening for FS from the nearby garrison, another for the wounded recovering in the hospital close by. Anna met Hans, an Unterofficer with an amputated arm. He was gentle, as much as duty allowed. His one hand stroked her hair as they lay on a straw mattress in the barn. "On the front, we dream of ones like you," he whispered. But even in that, there was little warmth. The act ended quickly, and he limped away. By fall, rumors from the front grew darker. Men came less often, their faces gaunt. Stalingrad hung in the air like a curse. In the house, the first children were born, squalling bundles with blue eyes, whisked away by sisters for registration. Anna saw one girl who birthed a dark-haired baby, taken away at night. Unsuitable material. Fear settled into the walls. Anna continued her contribution. Her third partner, Fritz, was young, fresh from training. His body trembled with excitement as they ended up in the woods behind the house, under the firs. The ground was damp from rain, but it didn't stop them. He was clumsy, but passionate, and for a moment Anna felt a spark, not duty, but something human. But then he stood, saluted, and left for the train heading east. Winter brought snow, blanketing the farm in white. They stoked the stoves in the house, but cold seeped into souls. Anna, now visibly pregnant, was moved to a special wing where expectant mothers rested. There she heard stories of homes in Germany where thousands of children were born for the Führer, of kidnappings in Poland where fair-haired toddlers were taken and Germanized. One sister, drunk on schnapps, let slip, "These are factories, not farms. We're producing soldiers." Intimate encounters grew rarer for the pregnant, but memories lingered. Anna lay at night, touching her belly, feeling kicks. Was this love, or just the seed of war? The front thundered in the distance, but here, in the womb, a new army grew. The winter of 1942-1943 turned Heim Hochland into a white bastion, cut off from the world by snowdrifts. Roads were buried, and men from the front now arrived less often, on sleds or trudging through passes. Those who made it brought frostbite air and the scent of death. Stalingrad had fallen, and that word lingered like a sentence. In the house, the Lebensborn sisters no longer smiled. Their faces grew sterner, lectures shorter. "The Reich needs every child," they repeated, handing out extra vitamins to the pregnant.
Anna, with a belly rounded like a snowball, spent days in the warm wing for expectant mothers. Beds had heating, walls posters of healthy Aryan infants. She no longer took part in intimate encounters. Her body was guarded like a valuable asset. But memories of past months returned at night, as she lay in the dim light, listening to others' breathing. Hilda, the rosy-cheeked one, had already borne a son, a sturdy boy with a cry like a siren. He was taken to the nursery wing, and Hilda saw him only once a day at feeding. "He'll be an officer," she whispered, but her eyes were hollow. New girls arrived even in winter, from Denmark, occupied France. They were brought under escort, wrapped in furs. One, Ingrid, with a mane of golden hair, was chosen personally by an officer from Berlin. Anna saw her led to the main bedroom, where a tall Standartenführer with medals on his chest waited. The door closed, and through the wall came sounds, rhythmic, like a hammer on an anvil. Ingrid emerged an hour later, adjusting her dress, face expressionless. "It's quick," she told Anna later over dinner. But Anna knew, for some, it lasted longer, especially if the man was wounded and sought comfort in a woman's warmth. The front invaded the farm through soldiers' bodies. One, Hauptsturmführer Wolf, arrived with frostbitten fingers after retreating from Moscow. He was selected for recovery. The program let Reich heroes stay a week. He picked a young girl named Elsa, fragile with violet eyes. They vanished to the attic room with a big canopied bed. Passing by, Anna heard muffled moans, not of pain, but something else. Wolf was rough. His hands, despite wounds, gripped tight. Elsa came out with bruises on her thighs, but sisters smeared cream and said, "Sacrifice for the Führer." A week later, Wolf left, leaving Elsa with seed and memory of his whisper, "Your child will avenge my comrades." Spring 1943 brought thaw, and with it a flood of news. Allies bombed Germany, Africa fell, but life at Heim-Hochland went on. Births increased, the delivery room in the basement ran around the clock. Anna felt her first contractions in April during a garden walk where snow melted. Sisters carried her on a stretcher to the basement, smelling of disinfectant and blood. Labor lasted hours. The doctor, elderly with a monocle, commanded quietly. When the baby cried, a girl with fair strands, Anna reached out but was pushed back. "For the Reich," they said. The infant was whisked away, and Anna lay there feeling emptiness in womb and soul. After birth, women moved to recovery, regaining strength for the next cycle. Anna returned to intimate contacts after a month. Her body had changed, breasts full of milk, hips wider, and it made her desirable. The first post-birth was with a sergeant named Kurt, fresh from Kursk. He arrived in a truck, covered in dust. In the barn with hay, he stripped her quickly, hands shaking from battle adrenaline. "No women on the front," he muttered, entering her with force built in trenches. Anna bit her lip to stifle cries. His movements were furious, like an assault. Smell of sweat and earth mixed with her leaking milk on the straw. When he finished, he lay on his back, staring at the ceiling. "So many dead. Need more alive," he said, and left. Summer 1943 made the farm bustling. They brought in captive Norwegians, those reformed through the program. One, Sigrid, a former teacher, resisted at first, but gave in after lectures. She was paired with Oberfeldwebel Heinz, a veteran with an Africa medal. They met in the woods under pines, moss a soft carpet. Anna glimpsed them once by chance. Heinz on his knees, head between Sigrid's legs, she clutching his hair. It wasn't by the rules, caresses forbidden to avoid distraction, but no one intervened. Later, Sigrid whispered, "He knows how they survive on the front." Intimacy evolved with the war. Men returning from defeats sought not just seed, but oblivion. One, Lieutenant Dieter, after Normandy, though rumors flew ahead, arrived broken. He chose Anna, now experienced. In the room overlooking the fjord, he took his time, undressed her slowly, kissing neck, breast where milk still lingered. His tongue was warm, fingers skilled. Anna felt a wave she hadn't known. Her body responded beyond will. He entered gently, moving to the rhythm of waves outside. "Forget the war," he whispered. It lasted long, and when orgasm hit her, she cried, not from pain, but humanity in the act. But morning came, he left, and Anna knew such moments were rare. The farm grew. By fall, they added a wing for elite pairs, high-ranking officers with selected women. Beds had silk sheets, wine on the table. Anna ended up there once with an SS colonel. He was older, gray-haired, touches calculated. He tied her hands with a scarf, whispering of discipline. Pain mixed with pleasure. His belt whip left marks on her back. "You're my mare," he said. The act was prolonged, with pauses for wine and watching. Seed was sown, but Anna felt used in a new way. Winter 1943-1944. The front drew near. Bombs fell on Oslo, guards strengthened in the house. Men arrived wounded, bandaged. One with an amputated leg lay in bed while a girl straddled him. Anna saw it in the common hall. Sisters allowed it to stimulate. Her next partner was such. Leg gone, but arms strong. He pulled her onto him, entering deep. "Hold on to me," he ordered. Movements clumsy, but intense. Children grew in the separate wing. Toddlers with numbers, not names, taught to march. Anna saw her daughter once, fair-haired with her eyes. The girl was now Gretchen, saluting with a tiny hand. Intimacy became routine, tinged with desperation. Men knew the end, their acts last efforts. One, dying from wounds, begged Anna to lie with him. He couldn't, but held her hand to his member, whispering of home. Winter 1944 stormed into Heim-Hochland with howling winds and distant booms. Allies bombed northern ports. Night skies sometimes flashed over the fjord like far-off lightning. Lights dimmed in the house, windows painted black. Lebensborn sisters patrolled with pistols. Men from the front were smuggled in under darkness, wounded, frostbitten, eyes mirroring the end. The program dragged on, but without old zeal. A frantic race to beat collapse. Anna, now a veteran among women, carried her second child. Her body softer yet stronger, hips wider, breasts heavier. She no longer asked fathers' names. They faded, leaving dates in the log. The last act before pregnancy was in the basement, where a group from a retreating Nord division was herded. One, Feldwebel Rudolf, head bandaged, chose her. In the damp space reeking of mold and blood, he tore off her dress. Hands cold as ice, he pinned her to the wall, entering from behind with a cornered beast's fury. "Faster, while there's time," he gasped. Anna braced palms on concrete, feeling his seed pour hot against the chill. He left without looking back. A week later, his unit disbanded near Murmansk. Spring 1945 brought melting snow scent and defeat. A hidden radio in the senior sister's office whispered of odor breakthroughs, Berlin bombs. No new girls at Heim Hochland. The old prepared for evacuation. But intimate encounters persisted. Last SS officers fleeing the east demanded seed rights. One, Sturmbannführer Lothar, pockmarked face, gathered 3 women, including Anna, in the main bedroom. He made them strip and lie in a row on the big bed. "You're the last bearers of pure blood," he said, unbuttoning his uniform. He took them in turn, moving from one to another until his body shook with fatigue. Anna lay in the middle. When her turn came, he entered roughly, squeezing her throat. Breath reeked of booze and fear. "Birth a son to avenge," he whispered, thrusting fast. The others lay silent, staring at the ceiling. Bodies merged into one mass of flesh under him. When he finished, he stood, buttoned up, and left. That night, shot for desertion. Children in the nursery had grown. Oldest 3 years, taught to march corridors shouting Heil. Anna saw her first daughter. Gretchen now ran with a wooden rifle, repeating words beyond understanding. The second child Anna birthed in March, basement echoing nearby blasts. The boy cried loud, fists clenched like a fighter. Taken immediately, Anna barely touched him. Blood flowed down thighs, but a sister wiped and said, "Prepare for the next." April brought chaos. Norwegian resistance stirred. Shots echoed in the woods at night. Documents burned in the house. Children loaded into vans. Women gathered in the dining hall. Senior sister, pistol in hand, declared, "The Reich has fallen, but the blood lives. You are its keepers." Some wept. Anna stood silent, feeling wombs void. The last man appeared unexpectedly, a wounded lieutenant hidden in the barn. He begged one more time for memory. In the dark, on straw, he lay atop, wounds bleeding onto her skin, movements weak, halting. He finished quick, whispering, "Germany." Morning found him dead. May 1945, Red Army approached from the east, British from the sea. Heim Hochland evacuated overnight. Children vanished into the unknown. Rumors said Sweden, under new names. Women released home with war victim papers. Anna left last, bundle in hand. Fjord gleamed under sun. Air smelled of freedom and gunpowder. She walked the road, body remembering every act, every seed. In Oslo, her mother waited, but Anna knew part of her stayed in those walls, in children she'd never hold. Years later, in a quiet Norwegian village, Anna sat by the window, watching grandchildren. War ended, but frontline farm intimacy lived in the blood, in fair heads, blue eyes. She never told, memory too heavy. But sometimes, in silence, she felt a kick, as if the Reich's child still stirred inside.